Hello friends, welcome back to Program with Akshay, and this is the part 4 of AWS Step Function. In the previous part, we have seen all the about AWS Step Functions, what is AWS Step Functions, why we are using AWS Step Functions, and the core concepts of AWS Step Function. In this part, we are going to see the actual implementation of AWS Step Function. In the previous part, we have seen a sample hello world execution of AWS Step Function. In this part, we are going to see a sample example of an email handler where we are going to create an AWS Step Function. So without further ado, let's start with the actual implementation or the sample demo of AWS Step Function. So this is the example which we are going to achieve in the two videos. Okay, so I've split this complete demo into the two videos. Okay, in the first video we are going to see, that means in this video we are going to see the implementation of the AWS Step Functions. Okay, so in this video we are going to create an email sample sample handler. In an email sample handler, first we have a start and a endpoint. In that it will check an email. Okay, and if it is in the contact list, it will add to a folder, and if it is not in the contact list, it will read the content, and if it will check whether it is a spam mail. If it is yes, then it will delete, and if it is a no, then it will review and end the process. Similarly, if it is in the contact list, it will add to a folder, then it will read that email and it will end the task. Okay, so this is the sample implementation which we are going to achieve. So this example is all about an email handler. Okay, so let's start. So login into the AWS console. So I have already logged into my AWS console, and inside the AWS console, go to the step functions, and inside the step functions, let's create our first AWS step function where we are going to see the actual implementation of our email handler. Okay, so this is how, in the again go to my previous section where I have explained you how the AWS step function works, and we have seen a sample implementation of hello world of AWS step function. So in this we will click on get started. It will prompt you three templates, whether do you want it to run a sample hello world, whether do you want to choose a predefined existing template, or do you want to create your own from scratch. Okay, so in this, for this particular example, we will choose a template. Okay, so click on choose a template. After clicking on a template, the AWS step function will prompt you the various templates, like we have something called as distributed map to process a CSV file in S3, and batch job with lambdas, then generate invoices using Stripe and everything. Okay, so we will create a blank template in this case, and let's click on select. Once you click on select, you give a name. Okay, so in this case, I will give a name as email handler step function. Okay, and select the type as standard. Again, I will explain you what exactly the types are in detail. Okay, now the security part, we require the permissions to execute the handler. So let's create an select an existing role. Okay, and I will keep the logging as it is. Once this configuration is done, go to your design. Okay, in the design you have something called as start and the stop. Okay, so this is the start state and this is the end state. Okay, now if you go to the left hand side, okay, there are the most popular AWS services which you can invoke with step functions. So we have something called as lambda. Okay, we have something called as SNS, ECS, step function, and glue. Okay, so we are not using anything right now as such. Okay, so these are the action services which you can integrate with AWS step function. Okay, now with the second tab, you can see the flow. Okay, inside the flow, okay, again I'm going back to the diagram. So this is the complete flow. Okay, so this is one task, this is another task, and these are various subtasks. Okay, you can say that. So these are the tasks. Okay, like if you wanted to have a success and a fail task, okay, then you have to add a wait. Okay, like a wait time of 3 seconds or 5 seconds. Okay, then you have to add a pass through. Okay, like from the start to end, you just wanted to have a pass through from the start point to the end point. Then you can use a map. Okay, that means a map is nothing but that runs parallel workflows for each data set. You can define a data set, like you define one group, okay, and inside one group you can create a map. Okay, then you can have a parallel. Okay, that means separate branches. In the first session we have seen the example. Okay, that means you can achieve the parallel states. Okay, so this is nothing but a parallel states. Okay, that means the two lambdas are executing parallelly. Okay, so and this is the choice. Okay, that means an if else condition in C sharp, or in your programming languages. Okay, so this is all about the flow. Okay, and this is all about the patterns. Okay, that means if you have to process into an S3 object, or you want to process a JSON file into S3, or CSV file into an S3, do you want a polar? Okay, that means a polling lambda, or anything. Okay, so the main part for this particular demo, we are going to see of the flow patterns. That means the flow charts. Okay, that means this is the part. Okay, and inside this code, if you go to the code, okay, this is then ASL language. Okay, that means Amazon States language. We are not going to do coding on Amazon State language right now, which we will go to the design section. And once we go to the design section, okay, we can see the errors now. Okay, I haven't done anything right now. Okay, so let's try to go to the flow section, and inside the flow section, let me drag and one pass through section. Okay, okay, once you add a pass through, this is nothing but a simple pass through task. Okay, it is nothing but it is starting from a single task. It is passing that object to a pass state, and it is ending an object. Okay, you can give a name. Okay, so in our case, in our example, we can say check. Okay, check email. In our case, okay, you can give a name, check email. Okay, and if you see, I have added a pass. Okay, you can add a comment. Okay, and you can add a timeout. Okay, so I have added a workflow. Okay, of check email, which is having, if you see the definition, if you expand to the definition, it has automatically added the state. Okay, it has automatically added the state in the ASL language. Okay, so this is how this is how the cool functionality of AWS Step Functions. Okay, so this is just a pass state. Okay, now if you wanted to add another pass state, you can simply drag and drop, and this will add another pass state. Okay, so let me go to the description point and add, like suppose in contact. Okay, let me add suppose in contact. Okay, and this will have a next state as n. Okay, now what we are going to do, we are going to create a choice now. Okay, if it is a yes, okay, that means it will go, we will add a choice now. Correct. If it is a yes, there are rules now. Okay, so if it is in contact, or you can delete this. Okay, I don't require, I can add this choice state here. If it is a choice state, that means if it is in contact, you can say in contact. Okay, and it will have a rule, like a rule number one, which is either true. Okay, so you can add the conditions. If you click here, there are conditions. Okay, you can add more and more conditions. Now I will add a condition. Okay, now to add a condition, you have to provide a variable name. Okay, and they have provided you can say a, 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 a label how to provide a variable name. Okay, so it should start with a dollar. Okay, and dot, and you can say in contact. Okay, so this is how you provide a variable name. Operator, you can specify is equal to value. I will specify a boolean, and it has a true value. Okay, you can save the condition here. Default, if you have provided a default value, it will go to a default state. Okay, now I will add another rule. Okay, in this case. Okay, and let me add another rule. Okay, to add a rule, you can go here. Okay, and add a new choice in that case. Okay, and rule number two, and you can add a condition. Again, you can specify dollar in contact, operator is boolean, or operator is equal to, and value is boolean. Okay, boolean, and the value is false. Save the value, And now we are done with our, you can say, the variable definition. Okay, that means setting the rules. Okay, so it will start first, it will pass through, it will check an email. If it is in contact and if it is true, it will do the further processing. If it is false, it will do the further processing, whether it is in spam state or do they have to mark that in the review. If it is in contact, it will do the further processing as per our flow diagram. Okay, so this is done. Okay, that means we have added our flow chart for a simple sample email handler. Okay, now if you see, there are configurations. Okay, now if you select here, there is a default value. Okay, that means if you click here, there is a state name. This is the state name, okay, of our choice. Okay, that is if else logic. If it is true, it will go here. If it is false, it will go here. And if it is a default, it will go to and do some operations or some task. Okay, and these are the rules, okay, which we have set. You can edit the rule and you can define the next state also. Like suppose if it is a true, then you have to do some another task. Okay, so you can define the next state also. Okay, this is for rule number 2, that means for our default. Okay, default rule. And this is for rule number 2, that means for false. Okay, so this is how you can do the configuration. We haven't specified any input and we haven't specified any output here in this case. So this is how we have implemented a sample test handler. Now this drop states are empty right now, so I will just add a simple pass state here and here also, and I will add a simple pass state for here also. Okay, so I have defined 3 pass states. So if it is a true, then it will read the email. Okay, I will rename it. It will read an email as per our diagram, read an email. Okay, and if it is a default, okay, and if it is a default, I will say do nothing. Okay, and if it is a false, then if it is a false, that means you have to read the content. Okay, so in our case, I will just read the content. Okay, read the content. Okay, so we have achieved, and we can drag and drop. Okay, we can you can see we can easily drag this, drop this, and we can easily create our workflows. Okay, and this is the definition. If you go to the definition, you can see the steps. That means the states are automatically added. These are the states. Okay, and this is in JSON. This is for check email. Okay, this is for check email. This is for in contact choice, which we have added. And this is the variable name. You can see the variable name which we have added in the drop down list, boolean. Okay, and the next step. Okay, similarly, there is another choice. That means another rule, that is for in contact. If it is a false, I specified. Okay, so let me edit that. I need to specify dot here. So if it is a boolean equals false, then it will read the content, and default do nothing. Similarly, I have added a pass state where I have added a pass as read email, do nothing, and read the content. Okay, so we have done almost all the configurations. Let me edit this and put a dot here and save the conditions. So let me so our configuration is done, okay, for email handler. And if you try to notice, this is the complete setup of AWS Step Function, where you get the actual code design and the config, where we do the actual configuration. And if you see, there is something called as create. We are in the draft mode right now. We haven't created the step function. If you go to the actions, in the actions you can import the definition. If you have an existing AWS step functions which is written in ASL language, you can import it. You can export the definition in JSON, YAML, and do the various things like view templates, view top level ASL properties. Okay, so this is how a step function is created. You can zoom in. Okay, you can zoom out. You can do the center. Okay, so this will do the center config. Now let's try to create an email handler, and let's see whether we have successfully created our first AWS step functions. That is the first demo of email handler. So let's create this. Okay, and why it is giving me error? 3 errors were found in the workflow. Do want it to save. String is shorter. Which string is shorter? Okay, try to save it, and Let's try to run it. Okay, and let's start the execution. Okay, and we have successfully executed, but it is having some error. Okay, now if you see the diagram here, okay, it is showing me an error. Okay, and the error is showing it in contact. Okay, that is, we have something failing at in contact state. Okay, let's try to expand the cause here, and it is showing me an error occurred while executing the state in contact. Invalid path, the choice state condition is invalid. Okay, if you see the execution of input and output, we haven't specified any variable name. Okay, we need to specify a variable name in order to enter into the choice and enter to into two choices, whether it is a yes or it is a no, to go into the further. If it is a yes, to put the mails in the folder, and if it is no, to mark it as a spam. So we haven't specified any variable name. That is why it is giving us an error, invalid path dollar in contact. Okay, so let's try to edit the state machine, and once you try to edit the state machine, it will edit it, and let's try to execute. Okay, and once you try to execute here, it is taking some time. Let's wait for a minute. Let me do exit first. Okay, and after doing the exit, why it is taking so much time to load? Okay, let's me try to a new execution. Yeah, so inside the new execution, we need to provide a variable name. So our variable name is in contact, and we are for passing a property, a boolean property as true, in capital in my case. So I am going to pass the property as true. Okay, as it is a boolean. So I will start the execution, and it should get executed. So execution status is succeeded, and you can see that means I have specified the property as true. That means first it has checked an email, it has found it is in contact, it has read an email, and it has end the process. Okay, so this is how the execution works. Let's see the execution of input and output. So this is the input which I have provided, and this is the output which I have got. Okay, so this is how you can do workflow with AWS step functions. Imagine you can integrate various AWS services, and you can integrate AWS step function. Okay, let's try to pass another variable in this case, and let's try to provide as false. Okay, so let me try to provide it false, and let me start an execution. Again, the execution is completed. Now if you see, it has again started. It will has checked an email in the contact. I have passed it as false. Okay, and it has read the content, and inside the read the content, it has end the process. If you see, the content I have passed as false, output I have received as false, and these are the details. This is the started time, and type is passed, and these are the definitions. Okay, and these are the events. Okay, at what time it has entered, past state entered, and past state exited. Okay, so this is how you can create those various passing those various variables like true, false, or any input variable, and you can execute your step functions. And these are the events where it has entered the past state, where it has exited the past state, and where the execution has succeeded. Then these are the times. Okay, now let's try to pass the default value. So in this case, let's try to pass the default value. In this case, the default value is blank, and let's execute this. So once you pass the default value, it will go to default, and it will do nothing, and it will end the process. Okay, so this is how you create AWS step functions. Okay, and this is the definition. Okay, this is the definition of our complete AWS step function workflow, which is written in ASL language, as I said, where it has choices. Okay, if you see, choices are nothing but arrays. Okay, and inside the array, you have see if you see, there is a variable, and it has boolean property as true, and it is the next step, and then it is default do nothing. Then there is another, like you can see, the pass state, where we have added read email, do nothing, and read content. Okay, so this is what what all about AWS Step Function, and we have almost half. We are halfway there with our email spam handler, where we have started the process where we have checked an email, where we have checked whether it is in contact. It will add to the folder and it will read the content. We have added one more process and we have added one more task here in this default value, and we have to see the various another the other tasks like read email, is spam, whether it delete and review, and then end the process. So in the upcoming video, okay, we will see the further implementation of our email sample handler, and also we will see how to add wait state. Okay, if you see in the workflow, there was something called as wait, where we can wait where we can stop the execution for 5 seconds or for 10 seconds or 15 seconds. So we will see that implementation in the upcoming video, and we will see the rest of the implementation for our this demo for email sampler handler. Okay, so this is the execution ARN. As I said, I've explained each and every detail how the AWS step function works, what are the state machines, what are the tasks, and how we can create this sample workflow. Okay, so if you do have any doubt, do let me know in the comment section. I will try to answer all your doubts. So in the upcoming video, we will see the further implementation of email handler, and we will see how to add the wait state. Okay, so with that said, thank you everyone for watching this video. Do share the content if you found this content very useful, and do subscribe to the channel, and see you in the next video with this further implementation. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.